They called him the Adjuster. Deny, defend, and depose were written on his bullets. His target was healthcare executive Brian Thompson. Authorities believe they have their suspect, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione.
So police arrested a man suspected of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on the streets of Manhattan.
A 26-year-old with a seemingly charmed life.
And people have been writing passionate love letters to him.
ABC News obtaining video today showing the gunman lying in wait. When the killer spots his mark, he runs across the street and opens fire.
And some sources say he'd been traveling on a Greyhound bus, stopped in for a bite to eat, a worker recognized him and called the cops.
Behind Luigi's academic achievements and community involvement, a silent struggle raged. A lifelong back injury.
Police found 4 fake IDs on him and a gun with a silencer. The gun was apparently a ghost gun, which is basically a homemade gun with 3D printed parts. And he was carrying a document that police have described as a kind of political manifesto.
Spondylolisthesis cast a long shadow over his life.
He graduated from an Ivy League school, UPenn. He was interested in leftist and climate change causes, but he also reposted anti-woke and men's rights memes. And he liked social media posts that quoted Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
While generally liked, he rarely let people get close. Some noted a certain darkness behind his eyes.
This is Unsolved True Crime. Our story begins with a little backstory about Luigi's grandfather. This is how Luigi's environment was formed.
The Mangiones have been pillars of Baltimore's Italian community for decades. Nicholas Mangione Sr. built a business empire from nothing and left a legacy of philanthropy.
World War II veteran Nicholas Mangione Sr. and his late grandmother Mary started creating a business empire.
Nicholas Mangione Sr. wasn't your average businessman. Raised in Baltimore, he and his brother took on family responsibilities at the tender age of 11. After serving in World War II, Nicholas returned to start a contracting business, which eventually led to him purchasing the Turf Valley Country Club in 1978. But success came with whispers of mafia ties, something Nicholas always denied. Known as a shrewd and sometimes combative figure, he wasn't afraid to bulldoze his way through obstacles, literally and figuratively. Yet to his family he was warm and relaxed, a stark contrast to his business persona.
His family name carried weight. His paternal grandparents, Nicholas and Mary Mangione, were titans in the world of real estate. They had built an empire, acquiring country clubs like Turf Valley and Hayfields, leaving an indelible mark on the region's social fabric. Their influence extended beyond real estate. They founded Lorien Health Systems, a network of senior care facilities, and even owned WCBM, a Baltimore radio station. Politics ran in the family too. Luigi's cousin Nino Mangione served as a Maryland state delegate, representing parts of Baltimore County. Born into this world of privilege and achievement, Luigi seemed destined for greatness. He attended the prestigious Gilman School, an institution synonymous with academic excellence. There, he excelled, earning the title of valedictorian in 2016, a testament to his intellect and drive. It seemed that Luigi was effortlessly stepping into the shoes laid out for him, his future bright with promise.
His grandfather, a renowned real estate developer, had built a family empire. Wealth and influence were his birthright. Friends from his exclusive co-living space in Waikiki, Hawaii, described him as reserved and intense. While generally liked, he rarely let people get close. Some noted a certain darkness behind his eyes, a sense of unease that contradicted his cheerful online persona. He could be withdrawn at times, preferring solitary runs on the beach to social gatherings. These observations, while fragmented, hint at a complexity that belied his carefully constructed public image.
Behind Luigi's academic achievements and community involvement, a silent struggle raged. A lifelong back injury, possibly spondylolisthesis, cast a long shadow over his life. The pain was a constant companion, a source of frustration and despair. It followed him to the shores of Hawaii, where he sought solace and escape. He joined the surf break co-living community, hoping to find peace amidst the waves and the warmth of the islands. But the pain was relentless. Surfing, hiking, even simple movements became unbearable. His dream of finding solace in paradise was shattered. He left Hawaii, his body broken, his spirit shaken. The back injury wasn't just a physical ailment. It was a constant reminder of his limitations, a source of profound emotional distress.
Luigi Mangione was the epitome of success. Valedictorian at the prestigious Gilman School, a computer science degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Around July 2023, Luigi's life took a turn. He started experiencing excruciating back pain. Diagnosed with spondylolisthesis, a painful spinal condition, he underwent surgery. Initially, there was hope. The surgery seemed successful. He even posted about his recovery on Reddit under the username Mr_Cactus, but the relief was short-lived. The pain returned, worse than before. His online posts became darker, hinting at despair. He railed against the American healthcare system, comparing it unfavorably to the UK's nationalized model. His physical pain seemed to be mirrored by a growing emotional turmoil. The world, once full of potential, now seemed rigged against him. Luigi Mangione was a ghost long before he was accused of murder. The Gilman School's golden boy, the University of Pennsylvania prodigy, vanished. Gone. Months passed. Silence. Frantic, his family clung to hope. They scoured the internet. They reached out to classmates, old friends, anyone. A mother's worst fear gnawed at their hearts. Where was Luigi?
On November 18th, Mangione was reported missing in San Francisco by his mom, Kathy. She hadn't heard from him since July.
Mangione worked at TrueCar in their now closed San Francisco office. He was last employed there in 2023.
His LinkedIn shows he was based in Honolulu. He lived in a co-living community in early 2022, then left for back surgery.
He started working as a data engineer for an online car marketplace months after graduating college, but left the company in 2023, shortly after he had back surgery.
My understanding is his spine was misaligned.
He went back to Hawaii briefly, rented an apartment, and then he vanished again.
In 2023, Mangione traveled through Asia for 2 months. His Reddit posts? Gone. Friends and family? Lost contact. One friend even tweeted, "Nobody has heard from you in months, and apparently your family is looking for you."
Corey Way of Scottsdale went to the same high school as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione.
He was like a leader in our class, so I'm not quite sure the exact clubs because it's a while back, but he was like a leader of clubs. He was in many clubs. He was also like a soccer player as well. Every year they have like somebody who's, exceeds academically and in and out of the classroom, and they have them speak in front of our high school. And it's weird saying it, but yeah, he was that person that we chose to speak, so.
On December 4th, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in New York.
New details coming in by the hour on the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Previously, the public only knew of the suspect riding his bike through Central Park and then exiting the park on 77th Street after the killing.
Eventually, we have him on 86th Street and Columbus Avenue walking. He loses the bike. And then from there, we have him in a taxi cab, and the taxi cab takes him up to 178th Street and Broadway, which, as we know, is a Port Authority bus center. Those buses are interstate buses. That's why we believe he may have left New York City.
NYPD saying they believe to have found the suspect's backpack that he wore during the murder while conducting their search of Central Park today.
Detectives swarmed the scene, piecing together the chaos, trying to make sense of the senseless. Witnesses were in shock, their testimonies fragmented and filled with fear, each recounting a different piece of the puzzle. A single clue emerged. A discarded notebook, its pages stained with blood.
Prosecutors quoted entries in a notebook allegedly recovered from Mangione. One from August reads, "The details are finally coming together. The target is insurance because it checks every box." In October, 1.5 months. This investor conference is a true windfall. The complaint says the notebook describes an intent to whack the CEO of one of the insurance companies at its investor conference.
The notebook, filled with scrawled handwriting, became the focal point of the investigation, a key to unlocking the mystery. It spoke of corporate greed, of healthcare inequality, of a system rigged against the people, a manifesto of discontent.
Many found Luigi relatable, while others condemned his actions. The media and authorities amplified him to fame.
The alleged killer then making his first appearance in federal court, facing 4 new federal charges, including murder through the use of a firearm.
It was clear that Luigi Mangione had become a beacon of hope to some and a terrorist to others.
The federal criminal complaint says Mangione traveled from Georgia to New York, for the purposes of stalking and killing Brian Thompson.
Plan to whack the CEO, meticulously outlined in the notebook's pages. The words jumped off the page, cold and calculating, leaving no doubt about the intent.
According to the complaint, one entry saying the target is insurance because it checks every box. The federal complaint also including a photo of the 9mm pistol and silencer police say Mangione had on him when he was arrested, saying it's consistent with the weapon used to kill Thompson. The 26-year-old also faces an 11-count state indictment in New York, which includes a charge of murder in furtherance of terrorism. Mangione waived extradition to New York during a court appearance in Pennsylvania. Outside that hearing, spectators gathered, some holding signs in support of the alleged killer, others noting the attention the case has brought to problems with the U.S. healthcare system.
We have our own reasons to be frustrated, fed up, angry with our government and our healthcare system. We both needed medical procedures that, we had to fight for, that we shouldn't have had to fight for.
United Health Group, the largest healthcare conglomerate in the U.S., controls over 2,300 companies. It's a behemoth in health insurance, pharmacies, surgery centers, and more. But behind this facade lies a dark side. UHG's been accused of violating patient privacy, upcoding and overbilling, denying necessary care, and engaging in anti-competitive practices. Patient privacy compromised. The Change healthcare data breach affected 1 in 3 Americans. UHG delayed notifications, violating HIPAA regulations. Upcoding rampant. UHG has overbilled Medicare, wasting millions in taxpayer dollars. Care denial systematic. UHC denies nearly 1/3 of claims, double the industry average, using flawed AI algorithms. Anti-competitive steering? Absolutely. UHG manipulates patients and providers to boost profits, facing multiple lawsuits and investigations. The impact? Patients suffer, independent practices crumble, and healthcare costs skyrocket. Brian Thompson was a titan of industry. As CEO of United Healthcare, he oversaw a massive health insurance empire. Thompson, a small-town boy from Iowa, climbed the corporate ladder with grit and determination. He started at United Healthcare over 2 decades ago, working his way up from the finance department. Behind the facade of success, a storm was brewing. Rumors of financial impropriety began to circulate around Thompson. Whispers hinted at something sinister. The whispers turned into accusations in May 2024. The Hollywood Firefighters Pension Fund filed a lawsuit. They alleged insider trading by Thompson and other executives. The lawsuit sent shockwaves through the company. It alleged Thompson knew of a DOJ antitrust investigation. This posed a significant threat to the company's future. Instead of disclosing, Thompson allegedly used this information. He sold over $15 million worth of shares. This was just before the DOJ investigation became public. The timing raised red flags. It suggested Thompson acted to protect his wealth. By 2021, Thompson reached the pinnacle of his career, becoming CEO of United Healthcare. The allegations against Thompson sent a chill through the financial markets. Investors who had trusted Thompson with their money felt betrayed. The Department of Justice investigation into United Healthcare was no longer just a rumor. It was a reality that threatened the company's very existence. The investigation, which had been quietly reopened in late 2023, focused on United Healthcare's relationship with Optum. Optum, a subsidiary of United Healthcare, provides pharmacy benefit management and other healthcare services. The DOJ was looking into whether United Healthcare was using its market power to steer business towards Optum, stifling competition in the process. This probe, combined with the insider trading allegations, cast a dark cloud over United Healthcare. When news of the DOJ investigation broke in February 2024, United Healthcare's stock price plummeted. The company lost nearly $25 billion in market value in a single day. Investors were spooked, and the company's reputation was in tatters. The Hollywood Firefighters Pension Fund claimed in their lawsuit that they had purchased United Healthcare stock at inflated prices due to the alleged deception by Thompson and other executives. They were seeking damages for their losses. The accusations against Thompson were mounting, and the pressure was intense. He became increasingly isolated, a shadow of his former self.
This is why you need to know where your money goes. AARP's billion-dollar partnerships might surprise you. AARP, the big name in senior advocacy, rakes in over $1 billion annually in royalties from healthcare giants like United Healthcare and Oak Street Health. But here's the kicker. These partnerships bring up some serious questions about conflicts of interest. Critics argue that AARP's financial ties could compromise its credibility in fighting for seniors' best interests on critical Medicare policies. So when AARP endorses a health product, is it truly beneficial or just another revenue stream? Transparency and accountability are key, especially when millions of seniors rely on AARP's advocacy. It's time for a closer look at whether AARP is serving seniors or just cashing in on their trust.
The Times would write an article on Luigi Mangione. New York prosecutors are using a 9/11-era anti-terrorism law in their case against the man charged with gunning down United Healthcare's CEO outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel. Luigi Mangione was indicted on charges of murder as an act of terrorism, under a state law that allows for stiffer sentences when a killing is aimed at terrifying civilians or influencing government. If it sounds like an unusual application of a terrorism law, it's not the first time the statute has been applied to a case that wasn't about cross-border extremism or a plot to kill masses of people. Mangione is charged with first-degree and second-degree murder, counts that specifically refer to a New York law that addresses terrorism, essentially an add-on to existing criminal statutes. It says that an underlying offense constitutes a crime of terrorism if it's done with intent to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, influence the policy of a unit of government by intimidation or coercion, or affect the conduct of a unit of government by murder, assassination, or kidnapping. If a defendant is convicted, the crime of terrorism designation boosts the underlying offense into a more serious sentencing category. For example, an assault normally punishable by up to 25 years in prison would carry a potential life sentence. Mangione would face a possible life sentence if convicted. New York does not have the death penalty. The state's highest court threw out a capital punishment law in 2004. Why do prosecutors say the anti-terrorism law applies in United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's killing? Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg put it simply, the intent was to sow terror. The Democratic prosecutor noted that the shooting unfolded early on a workday in a heavily trafficked business and tourist area, and he mentioned Mangione's writings.
Public reaction has been intense. There's significant resentment toward the healthcare industry, with many protesters surprisingly supporting Mangione.
Either the total indifference to the fact that a man was murdered, or in some cases outright glee and celebration of the man alleged to have committed it, like this scene from a Boston concert this weekend where a DJ put Mangione's face on the screen to the sound of huge cheers.
Local officials say this type of behavior over the last couple of weeks, the glorifying of Luigi Mangione.
Prosecutors allege Mangione gunned down Thompson on December 4th. What followed, they say, was an outpouring of praise for the suspect and fear reported by other executives. New details tonight about Luigi Mangione's communication in the Pennsylvania prison where he's being held. The 26-year-old suspect has received 40 emails and 53 pieces of mail there since his arrest at an Altoona McDonald's last week, and has had 158 deposits into his commissary account. The NYPD is revealing investigators spoke to Mangione's mother the day before he was arrested, and while she did not identify him in the photos being circulated, she did tell them it might be something she could see her son doing.
Legal experts believe this public sentiment could influence the trial. It's hard to root against someone who takes out a tyrannical CEO whose decisions cost people their lives. We're seeing a new America on the horizon. This young man had seen loved ones suffer, and himself suffer, because of sick policies that need to end. The CEO was instantly replaceable, no more than a cog in a machine, but it's the system itself that needs to be replaced. Medicare for All would greatly help with this problem. Not a perfect solution, but a place from which improvement could be reasonably made. We the people are talking. It would be best if those that make the policies listen, or a single incident will become a floodgate. That is something I prefer not to happen. Not because I feel that those responsible deserve leniency, but because of what it would do to us as a people, a nation.
If you want to support Peace Productions, please subscribe to our Patreon. The link is on the screen.